Hi, we are Freedom Fighter ladies. My name is Brianna and I'm 28 years old, and from the ages of 15 to 25 I struggled with anorexia. In this video I'm going to talk about my recovery journey and the 5 most important lessons I learned that helped me overcome my eating disorder. When I was 25, I was in the worst possible place that I'd ever been with my eating disorder. Definitely at rock bottom, and I knew that if I didn't change that I was going to die soon. And it was really hard for me to come to that realization, but I knew that if I didn't give recovery one last shot that I wasn't going to have any more chances. So that's my first lesson, is that you really have to choose to live. So I made a commitment that I wasn't going to give up on recovery until I finished that process. This time when I was really sick, my mom reminded me of something that happened to me when I was 3 years old that helped me realize that I could recover and I had the strength to. At this point, I should probably mention that I was born with cerebral palsy. I have something called spastic diplegia, but for me that basically means that my legs are tight and they make walking and other activities really difficult. So when I was 3, I learned to walk with a walker. It was a big red one with a bright yellow smiley face on it, but I definitely wasn't smiling. And the reason I wasn't smiling is I realized that I was different. And I didn't want to be different, and I wanted to learn to walk like the other children. And my mom brought this up to my doctors, and my doctors were saying, no, like, that's the best she can do, like, don't let her try because she'll hurt herself, and we don't want that. But I was really persistent. I was like, Mom, I really want to do it, like, I really want to walk, like, I know I can do it, please let me. So my wonderful, amazing, gracious, strong mother that she is let me try. And I fell a lot of times and got so many injuries and got really hurt. But at the end, I learned to walk like the other children. And when I was thinking about this when I was sick, it inspired me and it made me realize that I could do it, because obviously that strength was still inside me. And I didn't love myself yet, but I loved that little girl, so I know eventually I could love myself because I am that little girl, so that really helped me. The second recovery lesson I learned is that sometimes you have to work with what you've got. When I committed to recovery and decided that I was going to do it no matter what, for some reason I thought that everything would be perfect and I would have every resource possible available to me, but I quickly learned that that wasn't the case. I wanted to go to an inpatient program that ended up not being possible, and I had so many valid reasons as to why I should have been able to, but it just didn't work out. And it made me really sad for a while, and I just thought, like, I can't do it because I don't have the resources I need. Like, it's not possible. But my therapist at the time, that I still see, she's one of my heroes, she's amazing by the way, encouraged me to look at all the resources I did have. I have her, and I saw a dietitian at the time, and I had a support group that I went to, and she reminded me of the commitment I made to recovery, that I was going to do it regardless of the resources I had. And she told me that you just have to work with what you have. And once I committed to that and started working with what I had, I stopped focusing on what I didn't have. And so I used the resources I did have, and that made my situation a lot easier, and it gave me a more positive outlook on life in general. The third lesson I learned in recovery is that some things just can't be changed and you have to accept them. I know this may seem obvious to a lot of people, but it wasn't obvious to me. And the thing that I can't change is my cerebral palsy, and that held me back from recovery for a long time, because therapists would keep telling me, we have to solve the underlying issue and then your eating disorder will get better and you'll recover. But I can't change my cerebral palsy. There's no way that I can. So I had to start accepting that. So I decided that I was just going to pretend that it wasn't there, and that I was going to eat and do what I was supposed to do and just forget about it for a while, because I wasn't in a place where I could accept it. And I noticed that as I started giving my body more nutrition, that my physical condition actually improved, and it was a lot easier for me to function in everyday life. So my coping skill actually didn't work all that well, and that's when I learned that it's better to accept your situation, because then you'll be able to move on from it. And I mean, I still struggle with my cerebral palsy, often even, and I believe that it's there for some greater purpose that I haven't figured out yet, but when I do, I'll let you know. But I think that's a really important lesson, because you just can't change certain things, and the sooner that you can accept them, you can move on. The fifth and most important lesson I learned in recovery can be summed up in my favorite quote: "Don't let it break you. No matter how hard life gets, it always goes on." And I think that I'm proof of that. I'm standing here making this video, and there were so many situations in my life that I could have let break me. And it helped me in recovery, because every time I acted on an eating disorder behavior, I felt like I was letting a situation break me instead of solving it. So the quotes definitely made it possible for me to stay strong through my life, and reminded me that life does go on, and that bad situations don't last. And it's also allowed me to look to the future, because I realize that I can't change the past, and all we have is today. So I try to make the most out of what I have, and try to do the best I can. Thanks guys for letting me make this video. I hope you liked it, and talk to you later.